let's move on to what we actually were here for. Planning, like the real planning, estimating. So I think something I completely forgot to add in here, which I want to do now, is design sprint. So this is part of that, like build a boat instead. This is super important to do a design sprint. We're not very good at it at my company yet, but we're getting better at it over time. So the core idea here is to like get aligned with the business, clients, and team on what, why, but not how, what and why. We are building something. This is where the business comes in and will say something like, hey, I need a bridge. Which, by the way, that should be red like flags right up at, all, just in there, because the second that like somebody tells you a solution, you know that they're wrong, especially if they're not like, if they're at the beginning of the project, like they're wrong. It's easy to say that 99.999% of the time they're wrong. They'll say something like, we need a bridge, and we're like, okay, great. I understand you need a bridge. Let's go through a design. Like, even though you say we need a bridge, let's do a design sprint. Let's slow down to speed up, and let's like go through our process. And then halfway through that, we're like, okay, well, we're going through like a customer journey, and your bridge seems to be underwater. Are you sure we don't just want a fleet of boats? And here's like, oh yeah, we do. Okay, so we discovered that without having to write code. So this is a big part of it, is the entire software development process is not just the coding part, but the entire thing from design through validation. The way I think of it is you have a big list of features, rank them in order of importance, and detail out the current one, and decide which feature is next after the current one is done. You will create a list of features from the design sprint. Like that's what we do. Now, everybody is like, we're still getting good at design sprints, so I'm not like, there might be a better way, there probably is a better way than we're doing it, but we create a list of features from the design sprint. Yes. Philby, hi. Want to come here? A slow walk with a high tail. And design, like there's so much in the way of like where design comes from, where we end up having, you end up having thing. Oh, no, you're done. Oh, you want to go into the drawers? Oh, you want to go there. Okay, hold on. Oh, I like messed up all my cables now. So now my camera can't reach. Hold on, let's see. Maybe, possibly, perhaps. No, the cable is too short and it's pulling it. Sorry, I can't actually get the cable to watch where Zilby is. Okay, so we do the design sprint. You can't estimate what the project is before you know what the project is. That's common sense, right? But so many executives will ask you to estimate something before you have a chance to even know what it is that you want to build. That's why the design sprint is good. you need to align the teams and the business and the clients with what you're going to build and why you're going to build it. Then we can come to our initial estimation meeting. So in the initial estimation meeting, we're going to come up with key themes. Now, I have not invented any of this. I have stolen this from somebody who knows a lot more what they're talking about, which is, I think it's called the Total Flow System. It's the, or maybe flow system or something like that. Hold on, let me go find it really quickly. Here. Okay, so we want, here's my list of subscriptions. YouTube changed their, YouTube changed everything again. Why would you do this? Oh, I was too zoomed in. That's why. I need to go find Nigel's. Nigel Thurlow. So Nigel Thurlow is, he worked at Toyota for a while, I think in America. And he invented this, this entire like system of like a flow for software development, like for Toyota, and it's like worked out really well. And now he's creating this like in their training thing. It's this book that I've been reading from him called like the Flow System, I believe. And so he's got a series of videos on it. He also does a lot of music, but here it is, this Flow System. But I want to find his older videos on estimating, which we watched as a team together. So large effort estimation is video 1. And where's the other one? There's 2 videos from him. Well, oh, this one. Why you should estimate all work. So notice that I'm doing something that like most people don't do. I'm estimating, like I'm pointing all work. Pretty Rainbow. Wait. Oh, this one. Which one was the Pretty Rainbow? Oh, this one? Experience Agile. Oh, like, yeah. Keynote from Experience. Okay. Don't encourage you. Sorry. Okay, so basically I'm stealing like everything from here, and I was really not sure that it was gonna work, and it worked. Again, this only worked because I have a CTO who's backing me up. We had a lot of pushback on this, and both of us together were able to like give our team time to get this all set up and going. So let's talk about this large effort estimation. So I highly recommend watching this. I'm gonna actually add this in for like what this is here. And then this other estimate everything is like part of it. But really this is for just having an accurate velocity number. Whereas this one is like the actual process of doing it. This is actually gonna be part of Wiki. I'm gonna push this all up. So I'll print these out before. Okay, so key themes. Key themes are, go somewhere up here. When we're talking about a project, a key theme will be something. See, I don't know if I have like an actual project in here. So like, you know, we have like key theme 1. Let's say we have like 3 key themes. 2, and 3, but I don't know it enough to like maybe create the key themes for it. Baseball batting average tracker for the team. It might take me too much time and brain energy to actually come up with the real key themes for that. So like I'm sorry, but like I'm gonna keep with like this right now. I would need to spend more time, but that could be a really interesting thing to do in the future. And maybe I will set things up where I can do this on one of my own projects that I do in the stream, and we can see whether or not it works. If it's an oversimplified app, this won't work because this is large project estimation. And this, you like, if it's just only one key theme, it's like almost too small for this. Okay, so we create these key themes. And then, and this is something that like freaks a lot of people out. We point the key themes. So how do you point a key theme? Arbitrarily choose the simplest key theme and say, okay, fine. Key theme 2, you're the simplest key theme. You're a 5. We're gonna use Fibonacci sequence for this. Same as we use for, you know, the other thing. You're a 5. Okay, now that I've arbitrarily chosen this as a 5, these other key themes I now compare to this one to say, what are you? Well, compared to that one, you're actually like pretty big. So you're a 21 and you're a 13. It's like estimating like the points is really hard. So the first one, just choose the simplest one that you know and assign it a 5. Notice that I don't assign it a 1 because we might later on decide like, actually, you know, that's less than this. If you start with 1, you can't ever go smaller. So start pointing at like a 5. So there's several options below it just in case. What are some options for different themes that could exist? Okay, so let me take a look at what I have over here. I've got a list of like key themes that like I've seen in the past. The video unfortunately does not like go into super well what like the key theme is. These are above epics though. So like, I don't know if that helps. They're above epics. Where is key themes? I don't know if I don't think I easily have access. I don't have them like in easy to find places in my documentation. So it might be sort of like, see, I don't think any of my, if we were to come up with like a really big game, like a game that I've played, like we could look at Mario Golf. It's like we could have a key theme of like, we have the Super Rush mode. It's like Super Rush. The mode, another key theme is just like standard normal golf. I could be completely wrong here. I've never built like a giant game like this before, and I haven't actually done the design. This is also important. You have to do the design to come up with the key themes properly. And let's see, what else do we have? We might also have a maybe like auto update system. Maybe we have something like that. We want that. See, that's the thing is like, I don't know. They might, yeah, they do feel like key themes. I'm not very good at creating key themes. I usually leave that up to like my product owner. So these are like, don't take my word for it. My product owner is very good at coming up with these. So let's just go back to key theme. Now to do this and break it out properly, we like so that's step one with this is that we come up with the key themes and we point them. Maybe a key theme is realism with golf. Yeah, maybe that is. Maybe that's like this it feels like golf. I had it right and then I changed it. Okay, so then step two is just arbitrarily choose one of these. Doesn't matter which one, just arbitrarily choose one of the themes. Can we try to pick more? Yeah, we can try to pick more. What's another key theme from like a golf game? Let's say we're making a golf game. It doesn't have to be like the Mario Golf Super Rush. I just played that a little bit before, at the beginning of this stream, so that's why it's fresh in my mind. It could be any big giant project. So like it feels like golf. It's like it has different modes, like different play modes, maybe. Customizable, players can customize the game. Also, you can have many key themes. It's not limited to 3. It can be many. It's like gamification. Yeah, maybe this one would be gamification. So, gamified. They probably wouldn't use something like that. It'd probably be more of like what is it called? Like there's a business term for this. That is used more frequently than gamification. And yes, engagement system to keep players engaged. Which then you're just sitting there going like, really? It's called the addiction system. So anyways, we do this and we probably would do something like this, right? Feels like golf is the simplest. And then different play modes is like, well, that's going to be pretty different architecture here. Engagement is like maybe a little bit more tough. Yeah. So we then take one of these and we now choose one at random. Doesn't matter which one. Personally, we have always chosen the first one we need to work on. We also like, so you missed this, Dota. But where is it? Here. We also used this timeline with that's like not a deadline based timeline, but a milestone based timeline. We basically treat these as the milestones. So like as soon as it feels like golf, that's like, maybe that's an MVP and we can start getting it like beta tested or pre-alpha tested. So these might be like, okay, we might even put these like on a line and say, as soon as we hit this, we can start alpha testing it. As soon as we hit this, we can like start the marketing machine up. As soon as we hit this, we start the sales machine, and then we go to market. And that's the thing, is like you can't work on them at the same time unless you have many teams that can work at them at the same time. There's a limit on the themes. I mean, yes and no. The big thing is that because we take a more agile process to this, we end up with the ability to abort out of a project at any moment. You don't have to finish the project. As soon as the business says there's no more value to be gained from this, you're done. There's no reason to continue working on it. You might be like, it turns out that as soon as it feels like golf, your alpha testers might say like, you know what, this is freaking good. Let's just sell this now. And you're like, okay, this can still be in here as follows, but like you can start selling now. You didn't know that until you reached this theme. Okay, so we now break these, we break this out. Let's just, I've always taken the first one. The first one we're going to go to because we need to do it anyways. Just laziness. Also, I feel like this one we can foresee a lot more and like we're going to get accurate. But I don't think the books never really like talk about which one to choose. It just says choose one at random. Okay, so we're going to choose one of these. And we're going to now create the epics that make up this. So maybe the epic is going to be like set up the game, like the initial setup. So like initial setup. Let's see, what are other epics that we could have in like the feels like golf sort of like first milestone. We can like we have the clubs that we can choose. So like club choice, like club choice system. Let's see. We have the like the putting system. Like swinging, hitting the ball. So things like this. Like there would potentially be lots and lots and lots of epics in here. Yeah, weather. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with these. There's potentially many more. Okay, so these are epics. They go under here, and then surprise, surprise. We now point these. Now here's where, as a team lead, it becomes really, 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 really important to keep your team sort of like understanding this, because if you're used to pointing story points, you're used to like everything being together. But now we have theme points, and now we're gonna have epic points, and they have nothing to do with each other. I highly recommend a break in the meeting between these two things, simply because you need to reset your brain before you do this. Love how like Envision is just resetting constantly now. I don't think my see, I haven't dropped a single frame. So it's not my internet. But the same way to start, I recommend, which is take the simplest of these. So maybe initial setup is the simplest. Hey, we're Nintendo. We've built like 1 million games for the Switch. We know how to get the initial setup done. That's pretty simple for us now. So we just assign that a 5. Okay, great. Now, club choice system. This is gonna be a little bit more tough. Club choice system, it's a little bit more complicated of a system because like, we have to write it in such a way that like we can add club types, and like we're keeping engagement in mind. So we have to write it in like an architecture way that's easy to extend. So I'm gonna give this like a 21. Putting system is gonna be pretty easy. So this should be an 8. Hitting the ball should also be an 8. And the weather is gonna affect everything else. Let's put this as like a 34. These, we didn't think about these points when creating them. They're compared to each other on these. Yeah, they're not ordered also. They should be ordered, but like they're not ordered. So like maybe we do something like you can Envision, why are you doing this to me? Okay, it's back. I don't know. It might be something like this. I'm not putting too much thought into here. Okay. Now, as soon as we get this, we can now look at this and say like, ooh, okay, so we have 5 and 13 is 18 plus 21 is 39. So we have 39 epic points total for this project. Okay. And we have, I'm gonna break out the calculator for this one. We have 5, 8, 21, 34. We have 76 epic points. Okay, so 76 epic points. Here, key theme points. Okay, that's across all of these. These are 76 epic points for this one key theme. So this like blew my mind, and like I did not believe this was going to be true at all. But one key theme point is roughly equal to 76 epic points. Okay, so then okay, got that. Now let's take one of these epics and create user stories for that one epic. As soon as Envision comes back. They're not making it easy for me to sell this product for you all. I love Envision Freehand. It's been great for me so far. This is the first time it's been like just constantly going down on me. I wonder if they're doing like a lot of updates to it recently. Okay, so we did green, we did blue. Let's do orange. Okay, so these would be Jeff Ronas, hello. Are those 76 epic points for the Feels Like Golf theme? Yes, absolutely. Yes, that is correct. Let's do this. It's kind of like both. So absolutely yes. This entire thing is like that. That one doesn't need. Line caps. So yeah, so these epics are for the Feels Like Golf. We didn't even bother creating the epics for this. Oh, you're right. Yeah, math. Clearly not my strong point. Thank you for that. So that is 5 key. Yeah, so 5 key theme points is equivalent to 76. Okay, now we take one of these epics and we create the user stories for it. So we might have like initial setup. Let's see. So what would that be? We'd be like setup Unity. Like maybe this is like these would like, now I say user stories, but these would be like the tasks in Jira. So like either stories, tasks, or whatever in Jira. So we have like maybe get team set up on Unity. Maybe like bring in templates, like bring in template like engine or whatever. Some people like have these like set up if you've built lots of games before or other like projects. We can like update, like set up the like auto like CI/CD pipeline. Let's see what are other things that you can do like in like a setup phase. You can like even have the team might need to like learn about like new Unity stuff. So like training on new Unity features. Let's see other things. I'm not sure like what other stuff we want to have in here. I don't make these like giant games. I don't really have used Unity. So let's just imagine that this is all we have in here. So these are the user stories. And once again, we point them. Just like the other pointing, we're gonna choose the simplest one and give it a 5. So looking at this, perhaps we think that getting the team set up on Unity is going to be the simplest, the least complex. So you're a 5. You're probably just like just a little tiny bit more complex. So you're an 8. CI/CD pipelines, we've done that a few times before, but it's always got just a little bit of weirdness. So you're a 13. And you are bringing templates, like all of our templates and other like, maybe not templates, but like assets. You don't really like take that much. You're a 5. You're about the same as that. Okay, so now we can add this up. So 5, 5, 10, 23, 31. Okay, so now we have 31 story points for this epic. And so now we can see, okay, if 76, it's like these 5 story point or epic points lead to 31 story points. Now we have everything to sort of like estimate how many story points they're going to be. Now it's an estimation. There's a fairly good possibility this is going to be wrong because, as Dota mentioned earlier, we might need C. Like there might be a key theme missing completely in all of this, but I'm going to go into that a little bit later. Okay, so let's do the math for this. So it's like the 5 to 3. So what does that divide? It's like 6. Yeah, something like 6 story points per epic. So if it's 6 story points per epic, then we then multiply that out. Let's see. I always forget exactly how to do the math. I have to look it up. I actually just rely upon the other team members doing it. Just like I just get them set up and then other people do the math for me. About 15 epic points per theme point. So what's somewhat confusing is some of the theme stuff we might not do. Well, and so like this is an estimation for all of the stuff. Does that make sense? This is an estimation for the entire project. If we decide to end early, that's a decision that gets made later. as we're doing it. But like right now, if what the business wants to know is if they're asking us to deliver all of this, how long do we think it's going to take? And then we say, well, based upon this, we think it's going to be okay. So we want how many story points overall do we think this is going to be? So 90 story points per theme point. Okay, so thank you for that. Also, thank you for like essentially being a team member who just does all the math for me. So that's awesome. Also, I closed my account right there, so open that back up. So if we have 90 story points per theme point, we had 39 key points. So that's going to be 39 times 90 is 3,510. Grabbing food. Well, thank you for hanging out with me, Dota. Also, thank you, Jeff Ronas, for this. So this is going to be, what is it? 3,510 points. So it's an estimated 3,510 story points for the project. Now that we have this, too much. We come back down here to our velocity. What most teams like, there are some teams that actually like go through this project and they get this. That's great. The problem is that then they'll say, okay, well, our velocity is 100, so we'll take 3,510 divided by 100, and that's gonna be how many sprints it takes. Like 100 would be what? 3.5 sprints. And then, multiply divided by 30% each direction. It's like anywhere between like 2.9, 35 sprints, 100. Oh, it's 2 zeros, not 3 zeros. Yeah, it'd be like, okay, 35 sprints is how long we think it's going to be. And then 30% of that would be like several sprints up or down. But that 100 is a false, because we don't do 100 business added points every sprint. We do 66. So we should use our adjusted velocity, which is this 66, to predict how many sprints it's going to take. So in this case, it's going to be divided by 66, 53. Look at that. From our actual velocity to our adjusted velocity is 53 versus 35 sprints. So now we can say estimated 53 sprints to complete. And then it's always good to give a 30%, just sort of like on either side of this. So what is this? Like times 0.3. So that's 15 up or down below that. So 53. So like that's 15.9. So let's just round that up to 16. So we'll just say 53 minus 16. So 37 through, and then we have 53 plus 16 is so we have anywhere between 37 and 69 sprints is what we would give the business and say, this is how long we estimate this to take. And that's our estimation, and we can say that we're 90% accurate. We're 90%, it's a 90% chance that we're gonna hit this in here. We have been very accurate with my team. with this. Like using this exact method, we were surprised how accurate it was. Like the sales point on it is like good to go. Okay, so Jeff Ronis, you were asking, where does the 66 come from? So the 66 comes from the idea that not all points are the same. So in lean manufacturing, which is where like I borrow a lot of stuff from my company, there's different types of work. So let's say we're working on stuff in our on our board through the sprints, and like this ticket is unplanned, it's a bug. This ticket is like an internal improvement tool. Like this ticket is actually the business ticket. This is actually working towards the goal. And this ticket is like a change request from a customer that says like, hey, I really want you to like change it to be this. Only these three are value adding. So these three should be the ones that go towards predicting how many sprints it's going to take. This is waste. This is like not helpful at all. It's really just fixing bugs or like repairing value where it should be. And in that case, we should not count this towards our velocity when it comes to predicting, because it's not going to happen. Like this is just something else entirely. And this is, I think, the key that causes most companies and most teams to not predict accurately, is they don't take unplanned waste into account. That's pretty much all of this. I didn't like write it all out as I was doing it. But like that's like the big actual thing where we're doing the estimation. Now every sprint take a look at your velocities, and if like your velocity goes like up or down from like, if your adjusted velocity changes very much from this number, then you can start realizing like, hey, suddenly we're at like 55, and it's going downwards, or if it's going upwards, just spot check every couple of sprints, maybe even every sprint, recalculate based upon these numbers. Are you still going to hit within here? If the answer is no, immediate and encore pull in the business, pull in everyone who's involved in this and say like, hey, guess what? So we just realized that there's another key theme we need to do for this. That adds like, 500 more points. That's going to change our estimated number of sprints to complete. We just want to let you know, this is the cost of that change. Do you still want to make that change? This might feel like it's a really hard conversation to have with the business, but it's actually empowering, because what you're doing is you're empowering the business with real information, as opposed to having them just come up and make up numbers because they will. I don't usually like speak like too negatively of like any one group or something, but like I see a lot of business people just make up numbers and then be perfectly fine and happy with it. And with this type of work, that is not good. Making up stuff out of thin air is not going to result in a project done in the time frame that you've estimated it's going to be done at. So telling the business this is reality, based on reality, this is the cost of you doing it. And if you can prove to them, hey, this is the cost of it, then the business can make better decisions. And it's a really cool. Get one or two projects, like I think it's actually just get one project like this done, and the business will start trusting you to like actually give them the right information, and they'll stop trying to like force deadlines and other things on them. They're doing that out of fear. They're doing that because they don't have any like good knowledge and they can't trust anything. So this is where we can like provide that communication. We can provide that trust. It is weird and like might be really scary, but we can do it. We can work with the business together and provide absolute great, wonderful value. Okay, that's it. Like, just keep this number up to date, keep an eye on it, and pull the end on cord as soon as it it looks like it's not going to be hitting. And then there you go. That's it. That's how to predict. There is so much more to like being a team lead, but like this is probably one of the things that I see people trying to like figure out how to estimate. I've even seen like a big no estimate hashtag going around. People like, do not estimate, do not give like the business like, you know, an estimate whatsoever. The problem is that if you don't estimate, the business will still estimate without you, and that's not good. So therefore, well, if we have to estimate, this is the next best thing that I found. It's worked well for me. I hope that this is helpful for you. I think what I'm going to do is like today, like we made a bunch of videos. I think I'm going to like end the recording